and this. But all the punks go marching in, and all the punks go marching in. I wanna be in the world where the punks go marching in. Hey, hey.
Enjoy your life before you die. Things scare me, mama cry. Better now before you fly. I have roots, you won't shoot. I wish I never be existed. I wish I never be existed. I can't stand the daily news. All the problems, what they view. Our worst and into hell. Nothing's good, nothing's well. I wish I never be existed. I wish I never be existed.
1983, I think it was. I used to hang out at the Tinia Fortress with Abstras. I learned the first song. The first song was, I think, Warhead from UK Subs. And then it started from there, meeting people and forming bands. I had the first band, which was called Vandals. For me, it was more like a speed metal band, but some people said that we were had the punk roots. Because I like Exploited, Discharge, GBH, and that hardcore stuff, Conflict. So that's what.
When I was younger, I used to hear rock music, hard rock music, like Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, and all that kind of. I was born in the 70s. But in 77, God created the punk, you know, and Sex Pistols were on with the first single, Anarchy in the UK, and God Save the Queen, and the album Nevermind the Bollocks. That for me was, and I had long hair, I shaved it all and I just left the Mohican. That was the turning point of me. Today I don't have hair because it's false. So I cannot do nothing else. All I can do tattoos now to fill this head.
As I said, I started when I was about 18 years old. My siblings, they used to go to gigs, and I started to go myself. But as time went on, I started to get to meet some of the individuals. Eventually, I met Ray, who was a member of the band, and he suggested to me that I start maybe a song or two with them. And from then on, kind of
to the usual records, we heard the Sex Pistols, the Clash, so on and so forth. And then I started, I met some people who were into the scene and they invited me to a gig. It was simple as that, nothing exciting. So, you know, and I started going to gigs, I met people. Of course, you get to know the same people after I go to a couple of gigs, because it's a small scene, but back in time there was quite a lot of unity within the scene and everybody supported newcomers, so that was it.
I started doing these things like 18 to 15 years ago around. I was 16 years old. My brother started playing in a punk band called Batteries Not Included, which is one of the first punk bands along with Rage Against Society, which we are seeing today. And we needed to have a reference point. Having a reference point was just inventing this stuff ourselves. So what I did is I started organizing gigs. I started organizing a festival called Festa Huit, which means the Feast of Confusion, where I would get all the punk bands in every year, the new ones, the old ones, and put them all together on the same stage and get the people to, you know, everybody together at least once a year.
I remember meeting you as well. I think it was like 2005, 2006. But back then I didn't really belong to the scene as much as nowadays, but these last couple of years I started listening to a bit more punk than I usually do. But with punk, as you know, it's not just the music, it's the mentality you live with.
a wave. It's a wave. It depends on if people do things or not. We've always done things on our own. The scene is very, very small. It depends on a handful of people and a handful of bands.
It goes back a very long time ago, since 1979. There were only a few bands like Abstract, The Riffs, I don't know, because I wasn't involved exactly in that time. And it started at Tinia Point, we call it. It was an underground fortress, just for the bands. Started from there, but then it's like died naturally. Only Abstract continued to make that gig every year. Then there was the second wave of punk bands, which was in the middle of the 80s. But it didn't last long also. And then the third wave, around 1999 to the year 2000, and that was big for us because we had around, I think, 13 bands.
And even the records started coming out.
Yeah.
The punk records started coming out from this scene, which was as well very important to spread out.
We've been doing the festival for a lot of time. We had 9 editions of the festival. That helped a lot because I recorded the festival with a shitty microphone and I released my first CD, which was called the Festa Huit compilation. From then on, I called my friend, Frederick, the guitarist in my band. I told him, listen, the audio came quite good, let's do a compilation. If we do a compilation, we need a record label. If we need a record label, what's going to be the name? I said, oh, Reciprocal Records, that seems nice. And it's been working up to today. We have like 18 releases on our name. That's our, let's call them old, from the 1990s and the early 2000s, where we've had a lot of bands signed up to the label and different types of bands also singing in Maltese punk, which is very interesting.
It counts by music, not by country really, you know. It's not because we were dictated by England, you know. People like me, they were in England and there was the punk. Then I come to Malta and punk was started there, you know.
Yes, it's mainly because the UK punk, it's more relevant to the social circumstances in Malta, since we are close to Britain, since we're a colony, and we don't relate that much in terms of sound and even attitude to the American punk.
At the days, colored hair and Mohican and trousers, strips and things and t-shirt color. Just you make them yourself, but it wasn't because we were influenced from nobody. We were influenced by the music, especially Sex Pistols. It's changed, there's more punks, and you can tell who's the older punk and who used to be a long time of punk, not because of the age, by the experience. And Justice accept us more. In the first days, 77, 79, when you have a jeans cut or t-shirt cut, you'll be arrested. And today it's, you buy it for fashion, You buy trousers with some cuts in it costs you more. And we used to make them easily.
From then on, I cannot say that with my help it would be too modest and too humble to say, but let's say we've done a lot of things. We've done a lot of shit, we've lost money.
That's a small history of what happened and
And what is happening, we cannot say much because not much is happening at all. We have only
But
two
the
bands.
little bit that is happening, when it does happen, it's usually a lot of fun. So it's once in a while, but when it does happen, it kicks ass, you know.
Okay.
we don't have a place where together, but with a single call we just can manage to bring 100, 150 people, just maybe more, luckily.
Get in the world like I said before. We're wrecking Mother Nature like a war in this hole. Reading studies from the wheels fed by machines. Crushing our lives, pushing our dreams. Lies, lies, lies that give it pain. Power for us, people and
punk is the music, so the music don't change. But when you play the music, you know, we all play in English normally, so it's like international punk. But attitudes, they can be different because of justice here. We do whatever, because punk for me it's you believe in anarchy. And anarchy, do what you want and let other people do what the fuck they want. We don't believe in leaders who makes rules. We're against the rules. We're kind of people that we don't want rules in anything, nothing.
So yeah, I do definitely see a link between doing things for like the idea of the greater good. So trying to improve the vegetarianism, help to improve the planet, help to stop the suffering, so on and so forth. So yeah, I mean, punk is all about revolution, and not revolution in a sense. I would say at this point in time, it's not about revolution taking the streets and breaking everything, but more on something that you can do on your own.
I would say this is mostly about individuality and autonomy. It's something that you express yourself, and even if, for example, the majority is saying no, you don't just say yes just for the sake of it to rebel. It's something that you evaluate the situation and you actually give an answer depending on what you think, rather than what you are influenced with other people. It's a kind of self-expression. It can be through music, it can be through poetry, it can be through art, it's a lifestyle really, an attitude towards life.
In my opinion, I think it's quite varied, because, alright, Malta's a small island, but at the same time, every one of us has a different background, a different story, different families, different political ideologies, different bands they listen to. So you cannot tell the majority of these people do this or the majority of these people do that. It's a small scene, but it's really varied. But I think one maybe of the most common, I could be wrong, in my opinion, I think one of the most common things is the need, you know, to break away from the conformist society.
As in the punk scene itself, I don't find any difficulties really, because everyone considers each other as equal. But in Malta in general, I do find certain sexist remarks, and even rather than sexist, even for example, the fact that I have my hair shaved. I've had comments as I was passing by, even when I go to job interviews, for example. It's not the first time that, as the moment that they see me, they're like, whoa, kind of. Even when I used to have red mohawk, it's like something out of the ordinary here in Malta, when in reality you could wear a suit and a tie and still have the same attitude. So it doesn't mean that if you're wearing whatever, it doesn't have to do with who you really are. With regards to sexism, I think we do have a bit of a problem in Malta in general, but rather than just the punk scene, I wouldn't say that because I'm part of a band, they have something against me, as in the punk scene. Honestly, they actually appreciate it, I guess. But in general, yes, I would say that there's a lot to improve in the Maltese society.
Luckily, we have no right-wing bands in the punk scene, and all of the bands that I was involved and I'm involved now are not either left, nor either right. We are anarchists. The lyrics are only anarchist lyrics, so that's it. There's no left or right, only anarchism.
The scene is not that politically charged for the simple reason that, again, I believe that sometimes we live in a vacuum, so we have nothing to fight against. We don't need an Antifa for the simple reason that we have no no right-wing gigs, no right-wing organizations, although at the moment recently there were some attempts at forming right-wing organizations around the island due to the increase in migration. Back to your question, what you said, I do believe that yes, but however, most people are sort of politically committed on an individual level. For example, recently there was this reclaiming back Manuel Island, which was a land. It was basically an environmental protest, and lots of people which are not exactly from the punk scene or people that mostly supported the punk scene throughout the years, they were involved in this successful event where they reclaimed that this Manuel Island, which was closed for 16 years by this private consortium.
One of the protests of the 1st of May, the police just went out to stop some protesters, and one of them, I don't know, he became the president of Malta, one of the protesters later. Listen to the voices, and we made this protest against the warships that come to Malta. These guys are from the people of Prophet, from UK, and this was the Prime Minister, and I was giving him a petition, or I don't know what I gave him.
Okay, so first of all, there are a lot of issues. One of the issues we mention in our lyrics is, for example, environment. And also one particular song which I wrote myself is lack of work opportunities. I can say, as from personal experience, I graduated in psychology, and 3 years later I'm still struggling to find a job, and there are a lot of people like me who've studied, but at the end of the day they end up with no job. You don't have to have a degree. It's a problem everywhere. There's also oppression with regards to always the rich people always on top, and the little ones, they never get anywhere. It's all these particular issues that make up the corruption of the system.
Anarchy doesn't mean that you are not in politics.
You're in society, kind of.
You are not partisan politics, you are not in favor of this, and I'm against all.
Malta is a very small island, and it is quite a bit on the conservative side when it comes to people in general and religion, so I guess that's the main thing, the need to break away from it.
Well, as you said, it's quite a religious country, and we as a band, we also have lyrics related to religion, yes. But I wouldn't say that's the main point of the lyrics of the band, kind of. There's a lot of other issues that we go into.
In the Catholic country, it's just a trademark. It's like something that's been imposed on us. When you are just a little baby and you are baptized and you are becoming part of the Christian community. And then when you grow up, you start opening your mind and you see different things and you choose your life.
I think this notion of Malta being this ultra Catholic country, it's breaking down during the last year. That's my impression, even with the younger generation who aren't in the punk scene or whatever at all. But the general feeling is that yes, people are breaking away from religion.
My family was total Catholic and practical Catholic. Still now. My dad is in heaven, but my mama still. And I remember when I had one of the first songs, once was called Jesus Christ, that it was very, very, very bad. So she went crazy, you know. That's I don't play it anymore. There's no change. I change the lyrics and make love, not war. And then I had one that I kept for all my life since 1980, The Pope. A song, The Pope. And it was when the Pope was shot. And you know, all the religions of Malta at Sunday like to watch television to have the blessing from the Pope. And that day Pope was in hospital, so the Pope couldn't come out, and I was dressing a white t-shirt with yellow sleeves, not because I wanted to, it was one of the girls I had. And they told me, you look like a Pope today. And it was Sunday. And my friends, they was having a joint, you know, hashish. And I said, okay, Sunday morning at the Vatican is the Pope is rolling a joint. And that comes a full song out there. Today you will hear it.
With the million scars, the nation Lord and hate and being his eye. Is the Pope alive? Is the Pope alive? Is the Pope
The hangouts we used to hang out in Parcheville Playground and Valletta outside where there's the bus terminus and some pubs here. But now I don't see. Here is our hangout, okay, maybe we meet once in a while, but there's not a proper hangout. Only the gigs are our hangout.
Keep going, I hope. Have to think about the new generation what's coming, because we need boys. And I see that lot of young people here. Normally you don't find these old people here when a concert like this. But I'm pleasant that I'm seeing all these people. So that's generation after generation. They're gonna stay for a very, very long time. Because anyway, let's say, all the music is finished. I don't like ding, 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 bam, 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 bam. We need music, and we need to talk. We are here, the singers and the bands, we are here to make a show, yes, but to send a message.
It's been always an escalation for me in my life, the record label. Apart from me being a musician with 2 or 3 bands, I managed also to open a rock club, the only rock club on the island. Managed it for 2 years. Now, unfortunately, it's closed, but we're planning to reopen. Called Voice of a Generation. Thank you, Blitz. That's it, practically.
There used to be a garage or two in my hometown where there is a garage complex and there are a lot of bands practicing. There used to be a couple of punk bands practicing there, but as far as I know, nowadays there aren't any anymore, so hopefully sometime soon there will be a couple of bands practicing over there again, and hopefully the scene will start kicking again.
With my